Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to be talking about knitwear and shirts for men and women. They are brands that are on a longer list of over 60 brands that I've been working through, brands that are favored by the super wealthy. I'm Anesu Sagonda and I produce educational luxury content for anyone after the finer things, whether you're young and starting out in life and wanting to reap the benefits of buying better quality from the get-go, or you're into luxury but you want to focus more on high quality, under the radar brands, or you're new to money and wanting to learn how to navigate the terrain, then my content is geared towards you. A couple of years ago, I released a video which I'm going to attach above, and in that video I detailed a fairly sizable selection of knitwear brands I was recommending, and the brands ranged from mid-tier right up to the top end of the market. And one of the brands I'd like to recommend in this video is a brand that fits very comfortably at the top end of the market alongside Loro Piana, Brunello Cucinelli, Frank Nomani. It's an Italian brand called Il Borgo. Il Borgo is based in Florence, and I literally stumbled upon this brand out and about in Florence last summer. Very similar to the top three brands in that they offer typically a neutral color palette like them. Designs are typically timeless, and they have their own quirk in terms of just how they finish the cuffs, the collars, the little details they add to their pieces just to add a bit of differentiation. But what I like about Il Borgo, apart from the phenomenal quality of their products, is the fact that they supply Loro Piana with some of their cashmere pieces. The next four brands I'd like to recommend are Scottish brands. And a couple of weeks ago, I was in Hawick in Scotland, and Hawick is literally the knitwear capital in Scotland, one of the knitwear hubs in the world. Anything that says made in Scotland will typically have originated either from Hawick or one of the surrounding villages very close to Hawick. And Hawick is the capital when it comes to Scottish knitwear because of its geographical link, the transportation links where it's located, and also there's a lot of fast moving water which they need in abundance when it comes to the mills and running the mills and producing the cashmere. And the water is also soft. You need soft water to wash cashmere. The first brand I'd like to recommend is actually in Ayr, but they have mills in Hawick. It's a brand called Beg & Co. And I will talk about that brand later in the year. I had wanted to see them on this particular trip, but they don't have a store or a facility you can tour in Hawick. It's just a mill that they, as a brand, can access. And I had to choose between Ayr and Hawick, and I went for Hawick because there were other brands I wanted to see. But later in the year, I'll talk about Beg & Co. So it's my first recommendation, which I'll speak in detail during the course of the year. And then the next two recommendations, just confirming Johnstons of Elgin and Love Cashmere, two brands that I already have on my original list. And it was nice to see the production facilities, to talk in detail and really understand their products, and just to confirm why I like those two brands. Love Cashmere, I left my heart in their facility. It's just such a shame they only create accessories, so think of scarves, schnoods, hats, gloves, cashmere socks, for example. They don't produce coatigans, cardigans, big chunky coats, because that's what I really wanted to buy. I guess next time I run out of time, next time I'm in Hawick or the surrounding area, I'll try and pop over to Love Cashmere and get a really big scarf. But I like Love Cashmere, and they actually create pieces for other brands that I really, really like. Brands that are geared towards the top end. And then Johnstons of Elgin, I was able to tour their facility. Unfortunately, they didn't let me take any pictures, but what was important was to see firsthand why their pieces are so expensive. They also create pieces for the good and the great, like Chanel, Christian Dior. I remember seeing a pair of Brora gloves from start to finish. And what I really wanted to understand was just, why are their pieces so expensive? Their own brand, and of course what they make for the other brands. I wanted to see the level of craft and detail, the processes. So a jumper, a sweater, for example, it goes through 27 processes from start to finish. And every single process is done incredibly well with absolutely no error. There's no margin for error. Everything has to be done perfectly. If there's an issue, they either go back a stage or they undo the whole jumper and start again. And then at every stage, there's strict quality control. It's detailed who carried out the particular process, and then it's passed on to the next person. So if there's an issue, they're always able to trace where the issue was and who was responsible. So seeing a jumper, 27 processes, and seeing the cashmere, seeing a lot of the yarn from their competitors, and just how they bring together an incredibly high quality product was absolutely fantastic. And I like the brand even more. It's so good when you're able to see how they bring their products together and to get a much better understanding of the brand. So love Cashmere, Johnston's of Elgin, two brands I still highly recommend. Then the fourth brand, Harley of Scotland, I saw some of their products in Hoyk, but they're actually based in Aberdeenshire. So later in the year, when I'm in Scotland, I'll try and pop over to Aberdeenshire and see Harley of Scotland. And I like Harley of Scotland because they're bringing in a whole new selection of different patterns and colors into the equation. The four brands, Beg & Co, Harley of Scotland, Johnston's of Elgin, and Love Cashmere are very different in terms of the look and feel of all of the brands. They are all bringing a lot of variety, very different products, but products that are incredibly high quality. And then moving over to shirts. When it comes to shirts, particularly bespoke shirts at the top end of the market, it's typically shirts for men, but all of the brands I'm going to recommend also create shirts for women, bespoke shirts as well as ready-to-wear shirts. And a couple of the brands I've explored shirts for myself, and I'll go back during the course of the year. But shirts are very similar to suits that I've already spoken about, in that depending on the country of origin, the style will be different, construction will be different. I have shirts from 3 of the 4 fashion capitals, then 1 an outlier. And they're all very different. So for example, the British shirts, the Brits are known for fairly traditional tailoring. Shirts are typically machine made in terms of the shape. It tends to be classic boxy shape. The collars are different, the fits are different, and also the materials they'll typically use are different. They differ from country to country. With Italy, it's a closer fit, and the focus is more on a handmade product, and incredibly intricate details go into their shirts. The French are in between the British and also the Italians. They are more of a relaxed fit, and they focus more on elegant designs. My recommendations, the first 2, French brands. They are the only 2 that are also bespoke suit makers as well as shirt makers. They are Charvet and Jean-Manuel Moreau. My next recommendation is a Dutch brand called 100 Hands. I have personally explored getting shirts made, but they have a minimum order like a lot of brands do. And I don't want to get 5 shirts made, work shirts, for example, because I'm out of the corporate space. I would like to focus a lot more on ready-to-wear, one-off pieces, as opposed to the same style for work. They're actually in London in March. They have a trunk show. I'm going to include the dates down below. I won't be around. I hope to see 100 Hands home territory at some point when I'm in Amsterdam, hopefully later this year. The next group of brands are Italian brands. There's Davino, there is Luigi Borelli, G. Inglesi. I'd also like to throw into that equation 2 brands I am looking at personally. Maison Siniscalchi. I like Maison Siniscalchi because I like the colors. They have a lot of very bright, bold colors. The Italians are known for using incredibly fine quality fabrics. And their focus is very much on handwork, handmade, if not largely handmade, all handmade. A lot of handwork and a lot of intricate details go into the finish. Their products are made to an incredibly high standard, finished to a very high level. And Maison Siniscalchi, I like the colors, I like the burst of colors. I would like to explore a ready-to-wear shirt. Again, there's the minimum order when it comes to the more formal bespoke shirts. And then the final brand is a brand called Finamore. And Finamore, I really like. They have a white boxy shirt I was eyeing, hoping to get on sale, but I missed. And hopefully I'll get it again next year. I like the boxy cut, I like the 2 pockets, and I like the fact that it's well made, it's going to fit better. And with the bespoke, brands. I like the fact that you can also work with them to get the positioning of the buttons depending on what the look and feel you would like. So I like that flexibility when it comes to women, and I just like the way they position the buttons. It's a little more considered. And my final 3 recommendations are British brands. The first is Bud. The second is Turnbull and Asa. They are the King's shirt makers. I like Turnbull and Asa. I've interacted with them a couple of times. Always enjoy my time in there. Always have a good laugh. They're friendly, they're professional, but most of all, they are incredibly helpful and offer a lot of advice and guidance when it comes to shirts. And then my final recommendation is Will Whiting. Will Whiting is very well known for his shirts. They are eye-watchingly expensive, but what really stands out about him is 2 things. Firstly, he's incredibly knowledgeable. When it comes to shirts, he really knows his craft, which is what I'd expect. If you go in with an idea of what you would like and it won't work, he's able to talk you through your options, how to modify the design, possibly suggest something that would be a better option, or come in with his own designs that are incredibly well considered. And he also offers a lot of handwork. British tailoring, British shirts are a lot more focused on traditional tailoring. They're machine made. Whereas he's offering a lot of handwork, which you typically don't get with the British shirts, which are more machine, and the focus is on the tailoring, traditional tailoring. So his handwork, there's a lot of that, which you typically get with the Italians. So that's my selection of knitwear and also shirt brands. Any other brands within knitwear, shirtwear that you think are worthy, please do mention them in the comment section for everyone else. As always, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon.